Hello, yeah. My name is Professor Rowley, and I am the mastermind behind the creation of neural pathways language splicing. I would like to introduce you to my friend and business partner and international business manager, James.
Hello everyone. We're here today to talk to you about Npls, which is Professor Rowley's novel and amazing new language acquisition method. Okay, so let's begin. Professor Rowley, for those watching this, can you please explain to them what is neural pathways language splicing?
The technique is this. We divide up the same dialogue in two languages, phrase by phrase, and then put them back together again into one bilingual soundtrack. We match up the meanings of the two corresponding phrases in each language and arrange them so that the native language phrase goes first and followed immediately by the same phrase in the language a person wishes to learn.
Okay, Professor, I see. But why is it important to break down these languages into phrases?
That is a good question, James, and a very important one, because phrases are the smallest common denominators of complete thoughts within a language. These complete thoughts can be considered as packets of energy, of language, which are then translated by actual symbolic meaning by meaning by meaning.
Professor, can you give us an example of what you mean by translating these language packets meaning by meaning by meaning?
Yeah, sure, James. Take the French sentence, Je m'appelle Rowley. If translated literally, word by word into English, one would end up with the words, I myself call Rowley. And of course, the English meaning of that complete thought is, my name is Rowley. So, in Npls, you would hear, Je m'appelle Rowley, followed immediately by, my name is Rowley.
Okay, I get it. Makes sense, really. I imagine that this is really important when we are translating languages that use as many idioms as English.
Exactly. For example, we cannot translate it's raining cats and dogs into any language literally. So in Npls, we translate as a symbolic meaning of each complete thought into the other language. And by the way, I would recommend using colloquial, everyday dialects for all Npls programs.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, and remember, language is only a system of symbols. Npls attaches a new language symbol to a meaning already stored in the brain.
Oh, so a learner watching an Npls DVD in, say, English to French would first hear a complete thought in English, such as get out, followed immediately by the French translation of that phrase, which would be sortez. Is that right?
Yeah, so a new sound attached subconsciously to the old symbolic meaning. That's Npls in a nutshell.
Uh-huh. So the target language kind of piggybacks onto that of the native language, right?
Yeah, precisely, James. The new word piggybacks onto the existing word symbol and is then stored together, eventually allowing for bilingual access. So the important message is, imitate success and imitate nature and listen, listen, listen.
So, Professor, in your humble estimation, just how long would it take someone to begin to get a feel for the language using your Npls technique?
Well, James, I would certainly estimate several hundred hours of watching or downloading in order to get a good feeling for a new language. However, many people will automatically begin uttering phrases to themselves in less than 100 hours of watching. And I feel it important to emphasize that it is during the early stages that language learners build the nucleus of the new language. And this is done by assimilation through listening, and more listening.
Actually, this matches what a lot of linguists have been advocating for a long time, that there is in fact a critical silent period during language learning that you must listen before speaking?
Yeah, so learners should not try to speak during the early stages of language learning. I believe that language learners damage their performance overall by speaking too soon. They should imitate babies and listen, listen, listen. There's no rush to speaking. In fact, that very rushing to the goal of speaking has created the conditions for failure, both past and present.
So, Professor, how do you envisage getting this new methodology across to the billions of language learners worldwide?
Well, first, be fully frontally aware that MPLS is nothing without the fuel to run it. And that fuel is interest. Without interest, there is no movement. Without movement, there is no success. Therefore, we need to join forces with a team that can provide the interest that NPLS can then ride on. And after extensive research and conclusive worldwide findings, I have deduced and discerned that the ultissimo vehicle for NPLS is animated storytelling entertainment. Combined together, they create a whole new form of edutainment.
Wow, that's fantastic. So I can learn a new language by simply watching an animated DVD in MPLS.
Yeah, and it's easy and user-friendly and fun. But also, the MPLS method can be used with only audio tapes, and eventually, for the advanced learner, various reading materials.
Okay, so Professor, let's give those watching an example of what MPLS looks like in action.
Jawohl. James, go for it.
Okay. So here is a brief conversation where English is the learner's native language and French is a target language. Hi Pete, salut Pierre. Did you watch, as-tu regardé the match last night, le match hier soir? Yes, I did. Oui, je l'ai vu. What a great game, quel match extraordinaire. I'm gutted, je suis dégoûté. I didn't have a ticket, j'ai pas eu de ticket. I did, moi j'en avais. Really? C'est vrai? Yep, oui. Cost me a lot though. Ça me coûte une fortune. So, Professor, what did you think of that example?
Well,
Boring.
Yeah, and that's why we have come to the masters of animated entertainment, to provide us with the vehicle of interest on which NPLS can ride. What I will now show you is a small segment from one of my most favorite movies, Monsters, Inc., re-edited into a primitive MPLS format. And my hope is that this will spark your imagination and that you can envision its great potential.
I'm in this
We're
one.
part
I'm
of
in this
your
one.
life.
Voy a salir, voy a
Somos
salir.
parte de su vida.
We power your car.
La potencia en su auto.
We warm your home.
El calor de su hogar.
We light your city.
La luz de su ciudad.
I'm Monsters Incorporated.
Soy Monsters Incorporated.
Hey, look, Betty. Oye, es Betty.
Carefully matching
Cuidadosamente seleccionamos
every child to their ideal monster
el monstruo ideal de cada niño
to produce superior scream.
para producir un gran grito,
Refined into clean, dependable energy.
refinarlo y crear energía limpia y confiable.
Every time you turn something on,
Cada vez que usted enciende algo,
Monsters Incorporated is there.
Monsters Incorporated está ahí.
I'm Monsters Incorporated. Soy Monsters Incorporated.
We know the challenge.
Conocemos el reto.
The window of innocence
El margen de inocencia
is shrinking.
se agota.
Human kids
Los niños humanos
are harder to scare.
ahora son más difíciles de asustar.
Of course. Claro. MI is prepared. MI está preparado for the future. Para el futuro. With the top scarers. Con los mejores asustadores. The best refineries. Las mejores refinerías. And research. Hace investigación into new energy technique. De nueva tecnología en energía.
Okay, here I come.
Aquí voy.
We're working.
Aquí creamos
For a better tomorrow.
un brillante mañana.
Today.
Hoy.
Monsters Incorporated. Somos Monsters Incorporated.
Where am I? Monsters Incorporated. Somos MI. We scare. Sustos. Because we care. Que dan gusto.
I can't believe it.
No puede ser.
Oh, Mike. Oh, Mike.
I was on TV!
Salí en televisión.
Did you see me? ¿Viste? I'm a natural!
¡Fui una estrella!
Hello?
¿Hola?
I know!
¡Lo sé!
Hey, wasn't I great?
¿Y no te gustó?
Did the whole family see it?
¿Todos lo vieron?
It's your mom.
Es tu mamá.
What can I say?
Hay que decirlo.
The camera loves me.
La cámara me adora.
So, that is MPLS in action. We hope that you enjoyed it, and moreover, that you can now see its potential too. So, what did you think, Don Dero?
Que fantástico, no? Wow, I can just see it now. Little gringodillos y gringadillas running around town speaking perfect Mexicano español. Cool, huh?
Yeah, Don Dero. Totally cool, mano.
And you know, Jaime, with very little effort too, it's probably going to evolve into like cultural bonding or something like that.
Yeah, communication sure is a lot easier when we speak in the same lingo, you know?
Yeah, man. A totally cool information technology application, huh? And it goes on and on and on. Cartoons, motion pictures, and even dedicated TV channels are not beyond our grasp.
Yeah, you sure said it, Don Dero. The potential sure is muy grande.
See?
Okay, and now West Coast Daryl has something he would like to share with you. Daryl, over to you in the studio.
Thanks, James. What if I said to you that I can take one of your animated productions and literally remake it into 10 new and different productions with a new edutainment value all of their own? Imagine if I could multiply one of your productions 100 times, or 500, or even 1,000 times. Well, get this. I can actually multiply every single production of yours 2,450 times. And for next to nothing, too. Here's the mathematical proof. Buckminster-Fuller's formula for calculating group dynamics, which is the number of relationships within a given group, is x squared minus x divided by 2. That's the group dynamic. Where x is equal to the number of individuals within any given group. For us, x is the number of languages within this given group. However, for our calculations, you don't need to divide by 2 because, for example, English to Spanish is not the same as Spanish to English. So it's more than just one relationship, it's actually 2. Therefore, for us, it's just x squared minus x equals the MPLS language group dynamic. So if you take 50 languages, for example, x would be 50.
So, using your formula as x as 50 languages, we can produce 2,450 new films from only one original production. For example, you would have English to Chinese, Chinese to English, English to Spanish, Spanish to English, Spanish to Chinese, Chinese to Spanish, English, the list goes on and on and on. It's quite simply mind-blowing mathematics. It's amazing.
And that's just from one picture, James. Imagine if you had access to an archive with over 80 films. You would have the potential to make 196,000 absolutely new productions.
There are more than 50 languages spoken in the world. In fact, statistics tell us that 95% of the world's population, that's about 5.9 billion people, collectively speak 110 languages.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you creative geniuses of animation and your number crunchers, there you have it. Now you've seen what we've got, and we hope you've also seen its potential.
Spot on. So let's get together as soon as possible and let's plus this baby into action. Thank you for watching.
I want to do the wave.
Now go on.
Come on, Mom. Hi, Mom. It's your number one. Thank you. Very good.